This is Coffee with Timmy. Hello, welcome back to Coffee with Timmy. How are you doing? So we are now in the month of August, and down here in South Africa, it's Women's Month. Really on the 9th of August. But for the whole of August, as I did for my last posting, I'm going to be talking to women about different things. Today, I've got a very interesting woman with me. I don't want to say crazy. I try not to use that word, but this one is a crazy in a nice way. I met her just 2 months ago, and we clicked right away. But I think she's crazier than I am. But I'll let her introduce herself. She is a clinical psychologist. She's a mom. She's a wife. She is also a sexologist, which is not what we're going to talk about today. I'm too scared to put her on here to talk about that. So we're not going to go there today. But let her introduce herself, then we get on with today's show.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be on this space. My name is Lola Bade-Aluko. I'm a clinical psychologist. I'm Nigerian, and I'm based in South Africa. I think that's the easiest I can introduce myself. I say to people, I'm a wearer of many hats. First and foremost, I'm a mom to 2 young adults. Mm-hmm. I'm a wife to a very loving husband sometimes when he's not irritating me. And yes, I say to people, after God is my husband. So when he's not irritating me again. That's all you need to know about me for now.
Okay. So what I want to go through with Lola is this. One thing that you will know as women, we tend to take care of everybody except ourselves. And by the time we do, we are the last person on the list of people who need to take care of themselves. Sometimes this is just, maybe we didn't buy something for ourselves. Maybe you put the house first because the house needs certain things. But it can also be in other things that in the end are actually detrimental to us. So I'm going to let Lola tell us a little bit of a journey that she had and how she, remember she is a clinical psychologist. So for her to have gone from one step to where I want her to talk about today, you need to know that this is someone who knows what's going on, but somehow she wasn't able to see it. So Lola, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Topper. Thanks so much for this particular topic, because one thing I noticed is that as women, we tend not to take care of ourselves, especially our mental health and our emotional being, especially the emotional side. I always say something a lot, and I always say, and I know a lot of women are going through that. I just want to be loved. I just want somebody to ask me, how am I feeling? Are you tired? Do you want a cup of tea? Just like what we as mothers and women do to everybody else. I want somebody to wipe my nose. I want somebody to just tell me, come put your leg up there. Mm-hmm. But again, let's talk about the real thing. It's a pity that the society nowadays, we tend to forget the role of women. It's like we take so much on without unburden. We need to unburden sometimes, and without we put so much inside of us. One of the things I always tell my family is that I am not superwoman. I don't want to be superwoman anymore. I used to try to be superwoman. I thought the world rested on my shoulders until I had a nervous breakdown. And as a professional, honestly, it's one of the least things you expect, because you just assume, oh no, it can't happen to you. But we're human first and foremost, and it's just a natural thing. It can happen to anybody. And one of the first things that we always do is we always go into denial. We think, okay, you know what? It's not what we think it is. But being a professional, I knew the symptoms.
What are the symptoms?
The symptoms are, I will call it gray areas. You start feeling very gray, extremely very gray. And what I mean by being very gray is, let me give you my own symptoms. I've always been somebody that cry very easily. I cry especially when I'm irritated. Okay. I think the first cue is my cry is not because I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm actually feeling sorry for the other person, because my cry is, oh dear, if you know what I can do to you. Okay. That's what my cry is all about.
So that's a gray area.
Yeah, I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm watching a bad movie. I'm just and unfortunately, I had a crying child. So I understood what it was when I had a cry. So our personality trait is what we call very extra sensitive people. We're extra sensitive people, you understand? And growing up, you try to mask it with, oh no, I'm a tough person, but deep down there, that personality trait is there. So, and again, maybe my daughter's own was easy to handle. Mine wasn't easy because we grew up in Nigeria. You know, when you are crying, you're like, stop it! Why are you crying? You know, you need to be, you need to like, shoulder things when you cannot. So that's one of the things I noticed. Then, always feeling very sorry for myself. It's like it was just a pity party that I alone was in the party. Nobody else was there with me. You're just always feeling sorry for myself, always not letting go of the past. Always thinking, oh no, maybe if I had done this way. There's always that sense of, let me use the word, that sense of regret.
Okay.
Of, maybe I shouldn't do this, maybe I should. And then I think from there, it just escalated to the fact that because we as Africans, I'm not going to use the word Nigerians, Africans, we don't talk about some things. Okay. Yeah. And yes, we don't talk about some things. And unfortunately for me, I had a husband that was living a little bit far away from me. At that time. Okay. So it was just me and the kids were in boarding school. So, I was just left in my own space. So that I had too much time on my hands for my head to wander back and forth and just generally feel sorry for myself. Oh, woe is me, why am I going through this? And it was just gradually going down. I mean, things that you wouldn't even consider looking at, you would read meanings to them. Okay. You understand? With what I know now, with age, with experience, with exposure, maybe then I should have done some things differently. Okay. Honestly, maybe then I should have done some things differently. Maybe I should have, what would I say? Maybe I should have actually sought for help earlier than I did. Because, then, like I said, coming from where I was coming from is not something you talk about. I mean, you don't talk about you being depressed. But I knew something was wrong with me. Okay. I knew this was not just my... Number one of the things one of the first things I noticed was always wanting to be alone. Even when I'm in a party, I just want to get home. Okay. I want to get home and cry. Oh, I just wanted to get home and cry. I just wanted to get home and feel sorry for myself. It's like, even opening a bottle of wine, if I couldn't open it well, I felt sorry for it's like, oh, poor me. Okay. Poor me. Okay. It was that cycle, and it just kept on getting worse. Okay. And then I had a condition where my immunity really crashed. It's called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well, but I think they call it Lincoln Planners. And it was really, really bad. Never heard of it. Yeah, but it was really bad. And I know the medicals would understand what I was talking about. It was really bad. And part of the problem was I was told that I'd suppressed my feelings so much that, it was beginning to affect me. It was like I was basically living a lie. Okay. I was trying to be who I was. On the outside, I was this nice, bubbly, happy-looking, go-lucky woman, always dressed to the T's, looking so nice. But deep down, I was crumbling. I was like a pack of cards. Okay. I was just crumbling. And when I found out, when you combine it with what was wrong with me, part of what was wrong with me was with the Lincoln Planners was I had memory loss. Oh, it was really bad. And then I couldn't go out in the sun.
Why?
because of the condition.
Okay.
It was, so I couldn't go out in the sun. I had to wear sunshades and everything. And I think that just compounded what was wrong with me.
Like, now something is wrong with me as well.
Yeah, and then another problem I had was, I think one of the major problems that I think caused it for me was majorly isolation.
Okay, I was going to ask that because I was going to say, were you lonely? And then you said even when you were in a party, you wanted to be alone, because there are two different, being lonely and being alone.
Yeah, okay. You see, when we talk about loneliness, it depends on how you look at it. Some people think loneliness is when you're not with people.
Yeah, that's what I meant. No. Yes, yeah,
you can be with 1,001 people and still be very lonely. You understand? Okay. I had a very, very, very good, and that is one of the things I would always say. I had a very good communication with my husband, even though we're not physically together in the same place. I spoke to my husband 2-3 times a day. You understand? My kids were in boarding school, but they came home every Friday. When I said to somebody that one of the things I begged God for when I was going to have children was I didn't want my children. I wanted mine, as in a friend, a daughter, a son, that is somebody I could. So from a very young age, my children were not looked at. I didn't look at them as my children. I looked at them as my bodies. There was nothing I couldn't talk to them at all. So they knew, what was going on with me. So but I think one of the things that aggravated my depression more was my memory loss, because it was really bad. It was bad in the sense that, I could get into the kitchen and I can't even remember
why you were there,
why I was there. And then my son kind of had to take over. It would, when we go to I learned to, I've always written things down. Funny enough, I've always kept journals. It was just for me, a way of life of keeping in touch with myself. Okay, these are my goals, which I did every year, although I never really got halfway. Every year I would always make a goal of the things I want to do, but and then I always have to look back before I start the next journal of the year. So one of the things I always did was I would always write down the things I wanted to do. Like, okay, I'm going to the store, I want to buy milk, I want to buy this, I want to buy that. But I was young. I wasn't young. I was in my 40s. And I think I would say majorly one of the causes of it for me was my relocation. I had suppressed my, use the word sadness of relocating for so long, because I did not want to be in that space. Okay. But it was a sacrifice I had to make for my children. Then, you understand? But again, with hindsight now, I think it was a journey God was taking me through. A journey of discovery, of knowing who He wanted me to be, without even me realizing that, even though I relocated because of my children, but actually the journey was for me
as well.
Actually it was for me, more for me. It was a journey of self-discovery for myself, my strengths, my weaknesses, channeling my powers to different things and being able to curtail them, you understand, and say, this is what works for you, this is not what doesn't work for you. I was coming from a situation where basically the world evolved around me, and that was just the truth about it. I'm a last child. I just, things just went smoothly for me, and then I came into a space where, okay, what's going on here? Things are not. I didn't understand that. Even though I'd gone through some experiences in life that I knew that you needed to wait for something, this was just a different one. And I just realized that, okay, what's going on here? So I think part of it was anger of not being able to do things the way I wanted it to be done. But with hindsight now, I just look at it as, what, it was just a waiting time that God was just trying to put me.
Hindsight is always great.
Yeah, just trying to, but if only we could realize that. If only we could realize that. If only we could, I always say to people, if only we could stop, pause, and open up our brains and say, okay, what is going to happen? If we know what's going to happen, then we will not react some ways. So, as a professional, I know a lot of people. Some of the questions I got asked, and I won't tell a lie, is it possible for it to happen to you? But you're the psychologist, and I'm like, I'm human.
Yeah, that's why we're talking today, because at what point did you realize that, okay,
this is it.
I think I'm depressed?
Yeah. I think after about 3-4 months, and the feeling wasn't just going. And then, thank God for resources. My husband would always fly in every 2 months.
Okay.
Because you see, he didn't understand. And I remember one of those days, he said, "But why are you always crying?" And my answer was, "I don't know what is wrong with me." And it was so pathetic, because that was not the Lola he knew. Mm-hmm. This wasn't. I was losing myself. Mm-hmm. This wasn't me, because he himself was confused. Like like they say in Yoruba, they only then they it was bad. It was really bad. It was also a bad space, and I remember having to say, okay, you know what? This is it. I'm not going to fight this anymore. There is definitely something wrong with me. Okay. I need to seek help. Okay. And that is one of the things I would say as an African woman. We are wired to think everything is a shame. Okay. We always think, you don't want we've been brought up to say you don't want the left hand to know what the right hand is doing. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to be honest with a lot of people, is one of the major mistakes we make. Sometimes your help might just be right there at the tip of your nose. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All you need to do is speak out. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, some people may judge you, but again, I look at it as a three-way problem. Okay, what are the 3 points? Good. Judge me is your problem. Me being judged is my problem. Mm. The judgy and the judger, that's our problem. Mm-hmm. So everybody has a problem to deal with. Okay. You understand? Like I always say to somebody, you accuse me of something. Okay, I the accusee is my problem. You the accuser is your problem. What we are being accused about is our problem. Mm-hmm. So each person to your own. You understand? Until you get to that point in your life and you start saying to yourself, because one of the problems I had was stigmas. I didn't want to be stigmatized. Okay. It's a lot of things a lot of people talk about. Oh, you don't want to be stigmatized. And one of the things I'm going to say on today is we have a misconception about a lot of things, especially as people. The fact that you have depression or you're going through a mental situation doesn't classify you as crazy. Mm-hmm. No. Not local crazy. Exactly. No, it's not. It's just your system trying to either fight something or trying to tell you something. Okay. It's not like your car breaking down. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that because your car broke down, it's condemned. No. Yeah. It just might need some oiling. Mm-hmm. It might just need a tune-up. It might need you understand. So it depends on it's only when you get to the mechanic that they can tell you what is really wrong. But a lot of us come with the fact that the moment you say this, then you are looked at in a particular way. But again, you need to overcome that and say to yourself, even if I'm looked at in that particular way, am I going to get help? Yeah. And a lot of people did not go for help because they did not want to be looked at in that particular way. Mm-hmm. So what do they keep on doing? They keep on living a lie. And pushing it, you keep pushing it away. Yeah, I'm sweeping it under the carpet. And it's not every time that you have to go on medication. That is a lot of mistakes a lot of people make. Sometimes all you need is maybe a talk therapy. Okay. Maybe you just need a talk therapy. Maybe you just need... Sometimes you need to just go for, sometimes you need to go for counseling. You need to go back into your trapped being to know what is wrong with you. One of the things that black people in Africa, I won't say about other parts of the world, is we don't like therapy. We're like, there's nothing wrong with me. That, why am I going to sit down and be talking to someone? I remember when I spoke to Lebo about mental health in children, she also said the same thing, that just because there's a mental situation, when I didn't want to say the word mental, she said, no, just say it. That's what it is. It's a neurological thing. So it's a mental thing. And because we don't want to accept that something actually might not be the way it is, so we keep quiet. Mm-hmm. I have a friend who said she was in a doctor's office for something else entirely.
and she's reading, all those things that you see, and she's reading all these things on the wall. Are you, those things, and then when she got to the bottom, she realized that everything she's read, and it says, you are depressed, and she says, oh. So she didn't know. I mean, you are. She's a lay person like me, and then she realized that is what is wrong. I am depressed, and she decided, okay, so now that I know, I got to yes. So what was your next step when you?
When I knew, my next step was for me to seek. It was two ways. Either I kept quiet, which I knew I wasn't going to do anymore, because
it wasn't getting better.
Not that it wasn't getting better. I one day, I will tell you the truth. I looked at my daughter. As of then, I was missing out on a lot of things with her. She practically was raising herself. I would always I was like, she said to me, why are you always tired? I wasn't tired. I just wanted
Is tiredness a symptom?
It's not a symptom. It's just a getaway.
Okay.
I just wanted to be left alone. I just wanted to be on my bed. I wasn't just very motivated. And that was not the mommy they knew. I would be the one to say, oh no, today we're going to do this. But now I just wanted it to be like, just lay on my bed and cry my eyes out. Even if when the waters were finished, I would look for squeeze it like an orange so it could come out. And then, I've never really been a TV person, but now I would just want the TV to be on,
just there.
And then one of the things I knew that I didn't realize on time, which I only found out in 2020 during lockdown, was I had a spirit of fear. It was so massive that I didn't even know it was part of my problems.
Okay.
You understand? It was really, really, really bad. And I always say to people, thank God for lockdown, because I basically had to conquer my spirit of fear. Because I remember one day I just woke up and I said, you know what, God, we're going to deal with this thing today. I'm not sleeping tonight. This spirit of fear, whatever it is, we're going to deal with it, And I didn't even know that was part of my problems then, because I was very finicky, that's the word. Bold on the outside, but I was practically dying on the inside.
Okay.
And it was only the people that were close to me that would understand, okay, this is what this person was going through. But if you don't know me that well, you think, oh no, this is one mighty woman, but deep down. So what did I do? I knew that I wasn't going to live that way anymore. And I just said, okay, you know what? I'm going to seek first. I'm not going to go through medication, because I don't think as a professional, I knew that was not the first step.
Okay.
You understand? That's not the first step. I needed to analyze. I needed to see somebody to analyze me and know what the problem was. So I sought, to talk to somebody.
How did you feel as a professional? Also
Talking
now
to
having
somebody.
to say, actually, I think I'm depressed.
No. You
didn't say that.
No, you don't say that. I just sought a friend out who's also a professional, and I said, look, I think there's something wrong.
Okay.
And she says, oh, really? And I'm like, yes. She says, okay, what have you been seeing? I'm like, I think there's one or two things off about me. That, what do you see? And she says, well, now that you're talking about it, I can see that it's like you're putting up a front. I'm like, okay, what else do you see? And she tells me what she sees. And I mean, baby, it's not like a doctor. You can't really treat yourself, but you can analyze one or two things. You can look at the symptoms and say, okay, these are the symptoms. What's going on there? Of course, that is why they always say you have to be careful. So she was able to tell me, I see those things. What do you want to do? And I said, okay, you know what? I want to do a window therapy where I don't want to sit with you, because if I sit with you and I'm looking at your face, I'm human, and I'm going to want to hold some things back.
Okay.
Because I don't want to.
So tell us, what's a window therapy?
A window therapy is very easy. You don't get to see me. I don't get to see, because we're just humans. If you look at the Catholics, why do you think, I personally, as a psychologist,
the priest is behind the veil.
Thank you. And people talk better. It's just
because
because it's just human nature. Let us be fair. Okay. When I'm looking at you, I'm like, let me just hold some things back. But if I do not understand, I'm just talking to a mirror, you tend to talk.
Okay, so how do you do window therapy? I've never heard of this.
No, well, it's just a term
That you coined. Okay.
Yeah. Because what I do is that I don't want to see your face because I'm just going to hold some things back.
Okay.
So you just, I don't get me somebody. I want to see a therapist. I don't mind even recording. You can play it back to me and what I've said, and then I'll just do my talking.
Okay.
And just like me, not like me venting.
Oh, okay.
So I was able to vent. I cried, and according to her, she said I cried so much. I vented. I went back as far back as relocation. What I felt, how I felt. What was the word she used? I think my major problem was I was feeling. How is the word? I was feeling as if I wasn't important anymore. So I think the fear of, not being needed. My kids were
not being significant enough,
not being
relevant enough.
Yeah, I think you see, and that is one of the things I tell women. We should grow with every stage we get into.
Okay.
Don't get stagnant. Grow with every stage you get into. When your child is 1 year old, go with the 1 year old, go with the 2 year old, go with the 3 year old. Then when they get into the teenage years, you now start to drop some things bit by bit because a time gets. I wasn't feeling needed. That's the word.
I know that one.
Yeah,
I
wasn't feeling needed anymore because the kids were in boarding school. My husband was far away there. I was just here, and I think my only companion was my poor dog, and I think that dog's ears were full of so many nonsense I was saying to it regularly. I would just come home, and my dog's name was Chantel, by the way, and I would come home.
Okay, that's a weird name for a dog, but okay.
That's a story for another day. It was by Chantel's name was somebody annoyed me so much. Okay. And I felt the only way I could compare my annoyance was to give my dog a name. Okay. So I called my dog Chantel. Okay. Just to spite the person. Okay. So my dog was my companion. I got my dog funny enough, when he was just 3 weeks old. Okay. So I grew with my dog. So I would come home, and I used to say, my husband says that dog understood Yoruba so well. No, it was that bad. I would speak Yoruba to the dog and Chantal, now I would have a full-blown.
So that was your window therapy, except you couldn't do anything about it.
No, that was way before I even knew there was anything wrong.
So you already had the dog.
I just had my dog, and I would always talk to my dog. My dog would always sit with me while I was studying, and I would even crack jokes with. You don't know anything but wag your tail. You read this chapter. Yeah. Let me read that chapter. Because I was the only person I was talking to, and not realizing that I was missing
companionship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You understand?
Okay.
And that is one of the major things a lot of women do not realize. And another thing I was doing was I wasn't really socializing enough.
Mm-hmm. So you were isolating yourself.
I was thank you. I was isolating myself unknowingly. Okay. I use the word unknowingly. Okay. Would it have happened to me if I was back in a situation where I knew myself? No.
Okay.
I was in a new environment. Mm-hmm. I did not really know a lot of people. There was, I won't tell a lie, there was a lot of chances to make new friends. But because a middle-aged woman, you just didn't want to, put yourself out there. You wanted to be careful. And then when the kids came home, which I thought was an outlet for me, no, they had their own things they wanted to do.
Yeah, at a certain age, yeah.
Because they would have parties at the weekends, they had friends over, and it was just a lot.
You are not the center anymore for the kids.
And then when my husband calls, it was just calls, and then of course they will come over, we'll do things, and then when he noticed, and then when my daughter talked about it, and I just felt, okay, you know what, I need to see somebody. And I did see a friend for 6 months, and we talked about a lot of things. And when I felt there was time for me to really talk, I did talk, and I was able to know that, okay, this is what was wrong with me. These are the ways, and what were the two major things that were wrong with me was I was extremely, extremely lonely. Okay. Without me realizing that. I was extremely lonely. Okay. I was extremely lonely. And then secondly, I was an overthinker.
Okay.
That was just the two major things that we could get out of my therapy. I was an overthinker. And how did I stop? How did I go with these things? What I started doing was I coined this thing. We used to say it when we were in primary school. do your best and leave the rest.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was my. that was my.
Became your mantra.
I'm telling you, it just became that. Okay, you know what, Lola, you've tried. Do your best and leave the rest. It's not a competition. Nobody's going to beat me. You understand? Yeah. There was no competition. I just practically owned myself.
Okay.
That was just the truth. I owned myself, all flaws, whatever. I wasn't trying to be perfect anymore. I wasn't trying to be, because I was the only one with my children, I was trying to be daddy, I was trying to be mommy, I was trying to be everything. And I just realized that, no, God made daddy for a reason and God made mommy for a reason. So, whatever I couldn't handle, I didn't try to handle it. I would let them know that, you know what, I'm just going to try as this person. I'm not a perfect person, but this is what I think we should do. And I think it worked better than I took up. One of the things that I know helped me greatly, I took up painting.
And she's quite good. She actually has, you do wear many hats. She is an absolutely fantastic interior decorator. Not as a job, but if you look at her house, I had to ask her, like, did you get someone to do this place for you? And turns out she did it herself, and she's got a painting to prove what she has done, because I've seen it.
Yeah, I did it. I took up painting, which I never knew I could even hold a paintbrush. But I realized that while painting, I was in another world. It was just a happy place for me, and I was able to just pour in everything. So what would I say to people? You need to discover what you like. First and foremost, talk to somebody. There is no shame in being depressed. There is nothing wrong.
Basically, there's no shame in being not perfect.
Not perfect. That is it. Thank you, Topper. That is the right word. There's no shame in being not perfect. Nobody is a perfect being. Nobody is. We all have our little gray areas, our flaws here and there. There's nothing wrong with you asking the right person
for help.
And I use the word the right person.
Yeah.
Because you see, you can ask for help from some people, and they actually make your problems bigger. I won't lie to you. I spoke to somebody then, and the person says, am I sure it's not a spiritual problem? And I'm asking myself,
now you begin to think, do I have a spiritual problem? Oh Lord.
But unfortunately for me, I am very, very spiritual, but I am not gullible. They're just two different things.
Okay.
I said to people that way, no, I don't play church. I go to church to serve a living God. I don't play church with me. So don't use that to wrap, because I just felt to myself, what has spiritual got to do with reality? There are two different lines. We don't need to cross those wires. You understand? And the person says, oh no, and could I have fallen into the trap of let's pray? Yes, I did pray. I'm not going to lie. I'm a Christian. I did pray, but even the Bible says is watch and pray. It didn't say pray alone. And it didn't say watch alone. And that was what I was holding on to, that, look, I am going to pray. Yes, it made me a much better Christian. I'm going to say the truth. It made me a much better Christian. I realized that, okay, you know what? Some of the things I could not voice, not voice, some of the things I couldn't get answers to. I just took them to God.
Okay.
I took them to God as a challenge. That, you know what? I've done this. You do your path. I'm done. I'm tired.
It also says, all those who are weary and heavy laden should give all your burdens into Him.
And I remember my son used to say then that, oh, don't offend my mom. She's going to take you to God. Because I just used to say to God that, you know what? I've tried. It might not be good enough. I don't know if this thing is good enough. If it's not good enough, I need to go back. But hey, come on. You too, do your part. Let me know that this thing is good. You understand? And that was where I was. So somebody telling me it was spiritual had nothing to do with my mindset then. Because unfortunately, I don't have that kind of mindset. You understand? Then I've had people say funny things, some people took it to some extremes. Some people said, maybe the children need to come back home. And I'm wondering, how does it correlate with each other? Again, maybe because, my profession helped me. Okay. I was able to know that, you know what, we're mixing up things. Okay. We're mixing up a lot of things. And one of the things I would always say is that apart from even being a professional and going through that, it's always good to meet somebody else that thinks alongside with you. And that is where I come to the part of you. I'm not racist, but sometimes you need to go with somebody that understands
where you're coming from. Yeah.
So what did I seek
you
for?
Understand
even though
your
my
background.
though my therapist was South African Indian. Funny enough, she had lived in Nigeria.
Okay.
She went to University of Maiduguri.
Okay.
So she understood
the cultural background. Yeah, because that also makes a difference.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does make a lot of difference.
Yeah.
And that is the mistake a lot of people make, because I knew that I didn't want to go the other route. All my friends then were basically white people, and not because I chose it like that. It was just a convenient. No, it was just,
for what you were doing and where you were.
No, not even that. Not even that. It had to do with the language. The only language we speak as Nigerians is English. When I
that's a common language. Yeah.
Thank you. When I came here, the only language I understood was English. So it's just human nature. It's like a magnet.
Yeah.
You're going to go towards.
Yeah. Language is important. Yeah.
What you understand. You understand. But I knew that there was a cultural barrier. They didn't understand some things about me being
Nigerian.
Western, not even just Nigerian, being a Western African
woman.
Exactly. Where things differ. Yeah. And we don't do things the way the Southern Africans will do things generally.
Yeah.
I was a Western African woman. So I needed somebody that, understood a little bit of that background. And luckily I found that in my
someone.
And she was able to say, okay, you know what? This is what I think we should do. And another thing I know I did a lot then was, funny enough, I did a lot of dancing and singing, even though I can't sing to save.
Join the club.
But I just used to it used to make me so, it used to get me to a very happy place. A very happy
music
place.
Does that.
Yeah.
Music does that.
A very happy place. And over time I was able to, get out of that mood bit by bit. And even one of the things I used to say to myself a lot then was, even when I'm trying to, it's normal when you sometimes you slip back, but I would always motivate myself that you don't want to go back that journey. You don't want to go back that way. Think of. I used to think of. I would mention my children's name out then. We'll think of this person, think of that person. This person really relies on you. Oh, this person really loves you so much. Oh, for the love of this person. And then my dad was still alive, and anybody knowing me will tell you that my dad was my everything. I lived and my dad was just everything. And one of the problems I had then was having to keep it from him, because he would. I don't know how to explain to you. He always knew, because they would always call me and. He never used to say much. He would just used to say, Lola, whatever it is, it's going to pass. And I would just start crying. I told Daddy, I want to come home. He would calm down. You have children, you have these. And then he would just make me laugh on the phone. Just before it goes off, and he would always say, and I passed it on to my children. He would always say in Yoruba, what's your money? That means in English, remember whose child you are and remember the journey ahead of you.
Okay.
And I'll be like, well, that's true. And he used to tell me that, and that is what I live with till today. It's going to pass.
It's going to pass.
It's going to pass.
It's going to pass.
And women should always realize, I think the first thing talking about this is, know what is wrong with you. Even if you don't know what is wrong with you, seek help.
Okay.
Ask around. There's no shame there. You just might ask somebody else, and somebody else might just tell you that, oh, yeah, there's nothing wrong. That I'm having that feeling too. So you're not alone. It gives you a kind of assurance.
Yeah, I think so many times we think it's got to be just me. Everybody else is perfect. Everybody else is fine. Everybody's looking. They're fine. That's what we just think, because we don't know what is behind the smile. That's why I call it the lipstick brigade. Everything looks nice. Just put on a splash of lipstick and, you look good. I've been saying, I'm sure those who are close to me have heard me say so many times, I think I need to see a therapist. But just the thought, I didn't understand. Now I'm hearing this mirror therapy. I didn't understand that. I'm like, oh, and you're right. I will not say anything. I will not say everything. And I really don't want a therapist that knows me. I want somebody
No. It's always better to not see a therapist that knows you.
Yeah, because I want to talk to somebody who knows me.
Subconsciously, you're going to be lying.
And I just
you're going to be holding back.
Yeah, because I'm going to think she's going to judge me or he's going to judge me. I'm not telling you that one. I'm not telling you that one.
That's what I'm saying. So subconsciously, you're going to be lying. You're not telling the truth. And I mean, that means
you're not going to get the right medication, whatever the medication is.
You cannot have a headache and be telling me your foot is paining you. I'm supposed to give you a Panadol for headache and for an ointment for your foot. So if you're telling me it's about your foot and you cannot put ointment on your head. That's why I always advise people, seek somebody, first and foremost, seek somebody you feel comfortable with.
Yes.
Seek somebody that you can talk to. Seek somebody that you can be vulnerable with.
Okay.
That you feel is not going to judge you. And even if this person judges you, well, it's fine. You understand? And then, most especially, be comfortable in what you feel.
Okay.
Explain yourself. It might not, how will I put it? It doesn't have to be in a straight line. It might be disjointed. Don't worry, the therapist will put them together for you. It's not your job to put them together.
Yeah.
They will put them together for you and they will be able to help you form a straight line. But at the end of the day, what you want to do is put your ducks in a row so that they can all walk straight. Yeah. So what you do is seek out somebody and first and foremost, realize and that is something wrong. That there's something wrong.
The beginning of wisdom.
That is it. But a lot of times, you just might be living a lie. Oh, there's nothing wrong. Oh, there's nothing wrong. But at the back of your head, this is not right. And sometimes, many times, what you think is depression, because a lot of people self-diagnose.
I was going to say, don't go to the doctor and say, I think I've got a tummy ache.
No.
I think it must be cancer. I think it must be, with
this
Google doctor.
With this after lockdown, I think I told somebody, a lot of people just became professionals.
Yeah.
My mental state. I'm like, what do you mean about your mental state? What do you know about your mental state?
Oh gosh.
I think I'm depressed. I'm like, okay.
Why?
No, okay.
You just say okay.
I just always say okay. How did we get there? What are your symptoms? And most of the time when they tell you what the symptoms are, you just smile to yourself and like, it's normal. You see, some things are normal. Some things, we're all humans, we go through phases. You go through phases in your life. Yeah. You go through, this is the reason I'm chasing this is the reason I'm doing this thing. But like you rightly said, it's until you listen to somebody else that will tell you, there's nothing wrong with what you're going through. It's perfectly okay. It's only when it lingers and you don't let go, then it may be beginning to become a problem. But again, remember, we differ. I can linger on things for like 2-3 hours. You might linger on things for a day. It doesn't make you sick or anything. It just makes you who you are. That's your personality. I might see something and just look at it and look away. Somebody else might see that same thing and want to have a reaction. It doesn't make either of us bad. It just makes us who we are.
Okay.
So as women, one of the things I would beg women for is live for purpose. Have a reason you're doing things.
Okay.
Put boundaries.
You're very big on boundaries.
I'm a stickler. I'm a stickler for boundaries. You see, because Temi, boundaries just put things in place. I'm telling you, it puts things in place. It puts everybody in a little checkbox.
Yeah.
It puts things in place, because you see, if there are no boundaries, then we'll be running around on the streets just misbehaving. You understand? Yeah. But if there are boundaries, you know that I'm not going to cross this line with this person. These are the things I won't do.
So don't be afraid to set boundaries.
Don't be afraid to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to ask. For example, if you are a married woman and you are at home, and I do it a lot, and I'm very sure my husband always thinks, okay. Sometimes I actually use the word because they might not even know. I said, I want to be loved. I want to be dotted upon.
Okay.
Ask, where I'm
human. Do not be shy to show.
Don't
or to say how you feel.
How you feel. I mean, you come home from work And as the woman, you would always ask, oh, what are you going to eat? As everybody eating and this. No, sometimes I want to be asked. Even if I have to make it myself. Oh, are you okay? Have you eaten? You just want the table turned. You understand? I say to my husband, today I want to be treated nicely. I want to be treated like an egg. I want you to treat me like when you wanted to marry me.
Woo me again.
Thank you. Exactly. Like last week Sunday, I was a good example. I just called him, and when I left church, I was doing one or two things, and he called me and says, oh, what are we having for lunch? And I just felt, this poor me, I'm the one shopping. And I said, surprise me, do something nice for me, get me. And of course, as the usual Lola now, he now says, oh, that's true, what do you want? By the time
that's a wrong question to ask. It's a long list coming up.
I don't know, by the time I made the list of the foods, all the foods I wanted fried rice from this particular restaurant, I wanted jollof from this restaurant,
and she doesn't eat that much, so
I just wanted to be dotted upon, and when I got home, I said, oh, serve me.
Okay.
Put it in a plate, I just wanted to have that feeling.
Romance is not dead.
Yeah, exactly. So you don't be afraid to. I'm not saying you should overdo it, but don't be afraid.
But once in a while, it's good.
Exactly. Don't be afraid to even tell the person.
To feel loved.
Yeah, don't be afraid to tell the other person, oh, I'm not feeling okay. I think I'm not good enough in what I'm doing. And let the person, sometimes all you need is just reassurance.
Yes.
Just let the other person be able to tell you, oh, no. I mean, I said something yesterday, and I even almost fell off my chair. I said to my husband, I said, oh, I've not been in Santon in a long time, so I went to the dressing room in Zara. I was doing something. I said, Joe, that I looked at the mirror, that my tummy was this, my tummy was that. And I expected my husband to say something like, oh no, you're not really fat. He said, coming from where I'm coming from. I was so ashamed. But again, did I get my assurance? Yes, I did. But in a very nasty way.
But that also talks about communication between you and your husband. Yeah. And I've said it actually before this recording. I did say, because she kept me waiting. She had to cook. And then after cooking, she had to talk to this person and that. So this is starting 3 hours after we were supposed to start. But she said, wait, before we start, let me go and ask my husband if he's ready to eat. And I said it, and that's not the first time that I like the way you guys communicate. Even when you say we are fighting, it's a very funny fight, because she's feeding him, she's asking after him, it's this, it's that. And I think communication, so whether it is your husband you're talking to, or you're just talking to someone, just talk to someone about how it is. For your husband to be able to say, where you're coming from, so this is a good thing. Some women will take offense.
Thank you.
Because we want someone to lie to us. And at this age, I have to tell you guys, things are not as not facing as they used to face before.
No, but
something has gone to the South Pole. But it's the reality. This is who we are. And I love you like that, the way you are.
Even apart from the husband, I think women should know who is in their corner.
Yes.
You should have, and that is one of the things, I mean, like, I have a radio program. That's one of the things I want to do. We want to talk about women, the tribe, the diversity. I have a group of friends back home in Nigeria, and somebody, funny enough, I just saw an article with my photos, and I was like, what's my photo doing there? The person says, oh, she actually told the person that she knows me. They actually say the topic was diversity in friendship. Yeah. And then the person used the three of us that are friends as an example. The person doesn't know me. No, the doesn't know me, but he knows the other two people. Says, these three ladies are friends. We've been friends for, let me just say, about 20-something years. Okay. We have nothing in common.
Yeah.
Nothing. We're three completely different people. I'm being honest with you. One is extremely quiet, as in she doesn't even know what is happening under her nose. You understand? The other one is a little bit like me, but a little bit crazier. So let me give you a good scenario. Somebody says to the other one that is a little bit crazier, you are foolish. She'll call me, let's go and fight. But we don't even ask questions. I call the third person, we're going to fight. The three of us get halfway, and I will stop and say, guys, wait, hold on. What are we fighting for? The third one is not going to ask us any question. She's just going to go along with us. Then when we get to the fighting place, the fighter will start. I will be there gingering her up. But it's true now. You shouldn't have said that thing. Then the third person, when we leave, will say, what we did there is not good.
But she went along.
What she does to give us. So, you see, we're three different friends. But again, what do I love about that friendship? I will tell you the truth today. Those girls have my back. They are the only ones I would go to for the truth.
What do I hear South Africans say? Ride or die. They are your ride or die. Okay.
That is who they are. They are my friends, but we're completely three different personalities. Okay. But do we remain friends? Yes, we are friends. And that is one of the mistakes a lot of women make. You want that friend that tells you when your scarf is ugly. Oh, what a pretty scarf. Come on. The scarf is damn ugly. Get this thing off your head. You need that kind of friend. So you need to look for that.
Okay.
You need to look for that friend that you know that. And it's not a multitude of friends. It can be just one person. It doesn't have to be even your age mate. It might be, look, in South Africa, I would say one of the closest person I talk to is actually an 83-year-old woman.
Okay.
She's someone I would call. And she's a very, very, very strong Christian. She's elderly. She's seen everything about life. But she would always say to me, in a very calm, nice way, do you want to talk about it? Do you want me to tell you where you went wrong? She would tell me where I went wrong, and she would tell me, okay, you know what? We'll pray, we'll do everything. But in a very calm way. So what do? I go to her when I need somebody to just... She will allow me cry. She won't ask me, are you done? Are you done? Do you want a cup of coffee? Do you want tea? But she would tell me the truth and tell me what to do and tell me, no. Why don't you do it this way? Why don't you okay, try it this way. If it doesn't work, come back and let's talk about it. But I think it's going to work because I think she's had more experience.
She's lived life. Yeah,
exactly. She's lived life. So people will think the age gap. She's a white woman. She's old. What
do you have to talk about?
But I have realized that she's like somewhere I can go to and get a form of reason. Even sometimes it's not like I follow everything she says. You understand? I have somebody else like that I know she has a lot of wisdom. And she would always pray. Anything I tell her, she would tell me, let me pray about it.
Okay, we need people like that.
And she would always come back and tell me. She's not going to tell me, oh, this is what I saw. She's going to tell me, do you feel better? And I realized that her tactics is just to, she say, aburo me, let me pray about it. My sister, let me pray about it. So by the time she comes back to me, I've calmed down.
Yeah.
And she tells me, you know what, don't do this. God will not be happy with this, And she tells me about life. So women, we need that in our corners. Well, you need that crazy friend, you need that quiet friend, you need that friend, and we shouldn't deceive ourselves. At this age, and any person listening, you know who your friends are. You know where to carry things to. You know where to say, okay, you know what, I just need to be. Pause. Let me be quiet.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is, if you're feeling, I don't think you should diagnose yourself. If you think you have a feeling of being off, let me use the word being off, not depressed, being off at any point in time, I don't think the first place you should run to is a therapist. Honestly, no. Is that if it is consistent, then you seek a therapist, you seek help. But if you think, oh, I'm feeling off this point in time, sometimes just calling up a friend or calling up a family.
So it goes back to you need to talk to someone.
That is it.
Really, whether it's a therapist, whether it's a friend, you need to talk to someone. And then one thing I want to bring from what you just said now. So you were talking just to someone for about 6 months, where gradually you got better, you felt better. So this says, and I'd like to confirm this. Sometimes you don't need medication. In fact, you did say that the first step is not medication.
No.
The first step is you talking and getting, and we also need to, and please correct me if I'm wrong, when there is a need for medication, doesn't mean you're stuck raving mad. It just means
it might just be
you need something. So it's anti-anxiety, antidepressant, something like that.
It might be just anti-anxiety, it might be antidepressant.
I've had to take, I didn't know, but I was having panic attacks.
Exactly.
And I didn't even know why I was having panic attacks.
Yeah.
And I remember one day I was with a friend of mine, and it was my pastor actually, and he said, now, go to your doctor now. Because I mean, I'm just saying, okay, this is happening. Go now. It was one, I think it was one after he said, now, go now. And I sat down there and he made me phone my doctor, book an appointment.
See?
And when I explained to my doctor what was going on, he said, oh, you're having panic attacks. I said, there's nothing to panic about.
No,
he said, but that's what you're having. It's anxiety.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out. Anyway, so put me on, I think maybe for like a month or two. And that was it. But I didn't even understand, even up to now, if you ask me, what was I anxious about? I'm not sure.
But
there must have been something in my subconscious.
Your subconscious,
okay.
Exactly. Because you see, a lot of people, like you said, because of medication, the stigma, they don't want to be medicated. But that is why medication is there. If it is needed, it's going to regulate whatever is wrong.
Yeah. Okay.
You understand? And one of the things I will say about medication is, please, if you're put on medication, take it.
As you should.
Thank you.
Let it not become feel good. Ooh, it's so nice.
Not even that. Not even big.
No, but if it's so nice, you can say, okay, let me just take it to feel good.
Then you can become addicted.
I feel good.
You can become addicted. You can become dependent on it. And it's wrong.
Okay.
Is wrong. But at the same time, don't under-medicate yourself. Okay. Don't say because, oh no, subconsciously, oh, I don't want to become addicted. So they tell you, who was it I was talking to once, and the person was told to, and I said, there's a reason for you being told to take it 3 times a day. And you start to take it once a day. That doesn't make sense. There's a reason for 3 times a day. I said the earlier you start using it 3 times a day, the sooner your symptoms will get better. But once you start, I said, it's not like you saying you want to fill a 25-liter bottle. And they're telling you put 5 liters regularly. And because 5 times 5 will make 25. So all you're going to do is to do it for 5 times. But you decide to put it 1 liter. Man, you're going to sit down there for 25. You're going to do
25 times. Up to 25 times.
Instead of 5 times. You understand? You see the logic there now.
Yeah.
It's very easy, but people don't look at it that way. They look at it as, you know what, oh no, I don't want to become. And I think, like you rightly said, Dr. Google has.
Yeah, it's Dr. Google, It's Dr. Google.
I say to people that the work God, if we look at everything, Google said, some of us will be out of work.
Yeah, in the end. There's one more thing I need. I know I did say this for anyone listening and who has listened to my conversation with Label, but I'll say it again. So there is not all. I keep mixing it up. There's the psychologist and then there's the psychiatrist who is able to give you medication. Because if you have a friend who is not supposed to give you medication, who gives you a feel-good medication, we shouldn't. So is it a psychologist or a psychiatrist?
A psychiatrist.
So a psychiatrist is legally...
But you see, the irony of it is that, you see, people make that mistake a lot. And that was part of the reasons I started my radio program, to educate people, to draw the line between a psychologist and a psychiatrist. Okay. The major thing is that a psychiatrist goes to a medical school.
Okay.
Psychologists do not go to medical schools.
Okay. Are you listening?
Until we go further.
Okay.
You understand? Now, a psychiatrist is a psychologist. We deal with the mind.
The mind. Okay.
Good. A psychiatrist deals with your mental state. So there must be, maybe you've abused drugs. So there's a situation now. Okay. But a lot of people just assume that once you're going to a mental hospital, you're going to see a psychologist. The first step is actually to see a psychologist.
Who can then refer you.
Who analyzes your situation and decides that, okay, this is not something that therapy or whatever can deal with. There's a more advanced situation. This person, or let me give you an example, somebody has abused drugs. It's running crazy on the streets. At that point in time, it's beyond the psychologist.
Okay.
It actually goes to the psychiatrist.
Okay.
But somebody is depressed, early stages, we can still catch it. You don't go, it's not like you jumping the gun.
Okay. So you don't jump the gun.
You don't go straight to the psychiatrist. You're not mad. You're not crazy yet.
Okay. When you say it like that, that sounds really bad. Okay, what if when you say someone is, I know I said that was the last question, but when you say someone is clinically depressed, what does that mean? As a psychologist, really spoken to this person, realize, okay, you need to go a step further than me.
Exactly.
Is that what it is?
That's what it is, yeah. So what basically it means is that, you know what, now the wires are crossing.
Okay. They're sparking at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and sometimes, most of those times, then medication is needed.
Okay.
You need to be medicated. Okay. You understand? Maybe then the person is definitely not functioning anymore.
Okay. Okay.
You understand? You've seen people that are depressed. I don't know if you know about people that are so depressed that they don't even leave home anymore.
Yeah, that they want to stay in bed for 2 hours, 2 weeks.
They
just lie down there.
Yeah. Shower anymore.
Yes. I don't know them, but I've heard of them.
Yeah, they don't take a shower anymore. They don't. They basically. It's like they're like having an out of body experience. The person becomes a shadow of themselves.
Okay.
They become a shadow of themselves. Okay. They don't even eat.
Okay.
They don't eat for nourishment anymore. They eat for survival.
Okay.
So you see somebody that is weighing maybe 80 kg. By the time you see the person is looking like 50 kg, but the person doesn't even see that. They think, oh no, I'm just, because what they see in the mirror is they still see that the 80 kg full body. But some of them, when they cry out for help, once in a while, when it comes around, it's like, is it me?
What happened? Exactly.
That's a cry for help. It's like, what happened?
What happened?
And sometimes even the family can see that, oh, this person is losing it, and that they can help the person. But it's not as easy as that. I'm going to be honest with you, because even me as a professional, it took me almost 3 months to be able to say, okay, you know what? And it took a very, very, very close friend of mine to let me know that, you know what? This is not you.
This is something.
Something is off.
Okay. Give as a last word, give us a checklist. What should we be not afraid of, but on the lookout for with ourselves? So since it's Women's Month, you may see it in somebody else, but it may be for yourself as well. And I'll go back. I think I did have a live interview with someone, which I will reference. I'll put the link out there so we can go back. What are the things that we need to be like a checkpoint? Okay, this is happening. Let me look at it. Just as a last word.
Well,
for women,
for women,
Yeah,
I understand, and I really appreciate that. Thanks, Timmy. I think one of the greatest things, even leaving me being a professional out of the picture, as women, I think one of the greatest things we should look out for, so that we don't fall into not even depression, so that we don't lose ourselves, is when you start to see a pattern of a drastic change going on with you, and it's not explainable, you need to step back. Like Michael Jackson said, ask yourself, who is this person in the mirror? What's happening to me? You understand? Maybe you are somebody like, you used to dress nicely, and then all of a sudden, you're beginning to look shabby. You don't care about your personal hygiene anymore. You don't care about your appearance anymore. You need to step back. It's a very difficult, or no, I won't use the word difficult. It's something you need to practice. I always tell, my friends always make that fun. I periodically call myself to a board meeting. Where I'm the chairman, I'm the member, I'm the trustee, I'm the only one in that meeting. And I tell myself the basic truths. And I ask myself questions. And I say, okay, I need to improve on this.
Okay.
I need to work on this.
So reflection mode.
Exactly.
Okay.
But I call it a board meeting.
Okay.
I borrow myself some brain and some sense. And I say to myself, okay, I've been doing this A, B, C, D for this long.
It's not working.
It's not working. Lola, why don't you try something else?
Okay.
Why don't you reach out and do? I mean, like I told you, I've not been to the mall in like almost 3-4 years since lockdown. And I said to myself, wait a minute, what's wrong with you? Go out. Go and see what's happening there. And I went to Santon and I was like an ambulance in the place. I was just doing wow. And I was like, oh really? Oh, this is nice. Oh, when did this talk come here? Oh, this. And you will not believe I spent 5 hours.
Well, since I go to Santon a lot, my child likes Santon.
I've not been there since 2020.
No, man, no.
And I will tell you, I came back and I went to bed as if I won $1 million.
You felt good.
I didn't buy anything, but I felt so. It was like I was let out of a cage, and I'm like, why did you do this to yourself for so long? And why was I doing that? Nah, there's nothing for me to do in Santon. Nah, there's nothing. But again, I needed to ask myself. That's part of my socializing. I was able to just see things and I was happy. So the last word for people out there is, for women especially, you need to ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want for myself? If I want to be happy, my happiness doesn't depend on anybody. Can I get myself to that state where I'm happy? What do I need to make me happy?
Okay.
Maybe just going to grab a cup of coffee on my own. And just generally look around me and just feel good. Oh, do I need to go and sit with a friend and just talk about nothing? Have a good laugh and come back home. Do I need to be silly? Go out with my child? If any children are involved, just go fishing. Like when I travel, I love going to the gym with my son does boxing. And I like going to be his sparring partner, and I always warn him before we start. And don't box me in the wrong places. I'm old, my bones are fragile, so that you don't end up paying for us. But I enjoy doing that with him. Okay. You understand? With my daughter, I don't love going to the mall with her, sitting there saying, yeah. She loves to go to the changing room, sure. And she would wear like 6 outfits, and all I have to do is, yeah, it's nice. No, it's not nice. Yeah, it's nice. You understand? So do things that you love to do. Okay. And I think that's what every woman should own this Women's Month. Learn to own yourself.
Okay. So here you have it. I didn't think we were going to go all this way, but I think it makes for an interesting talk. So thank you. So that was, or that is, depending on when you're listening to this, Lola Bade-Aluko. But see now. But it's not spelled Bade, it's spelled B-E.
B-A-D-E.
I always see B-E. Go and look at your. Okay, we're going to fight now. So this is Lola Bade-Aluko with me. And thank you so much for taking time out in this freezing cold. It is freezing, guys. You have no idea. But so we are going to have a cake and coffee, which is really coffee with Temi. Thanks for staying with me. Bye for now.